The quest for the next great wing doesn't stop, it just relocates. From Brockton, Massachusetts to Provo, Utah, AJ Dybantsa is ready to take the college basketball world by storm. A 6'8" bucket-getting machine with an 8'10" standing reach, nearly 7-foot wingspan, and the approach of someone who doesn't just think, but knows that he's the best player on the floor. And on most nights, he is. A 3-time gold medalist, FIBA U19 World Cup MVP, McDonald's All-American, and projected top 3 pick, Dybantsa is built for the modern NBA. But what separates him isn't just the resume or the physical tools, it's how aggressively he hunts for buckets. My name is Corey Tulaba. Welcome to No Ceilings. This is AJ Dybantsa. When you talk about self-creation, few high school players, scratch that, few prospects, period, have ever had the kind of natural shot-making DNA that AJ Dybantsa does. He's a tough shot taker and maker in every sense of the phrase. There's a relentless scoring mindset here, bordering on obsessive. He wants the rock, he wants the matchup, and he believes he's getting a bucket no matter what or who is in front of him. Watch him operate out of the triple threat. It's textbook. He loves to set his defender up with that shoulder shimmy rocker, forcing them to bite before flowing into a hesitation pull-up or spinning off either shoulder into a smooth mid-range fadeaway. There's real craft in how Dybantsa manipulates his defender's balance. The hezzy Jimbo, the snatch cross, the jab step counter, it's all smooth and purposeful. Dybantsa has a pretty quick first step, especially for a guy his size, but it's really his combination of pace, strength, and stride length that allows him to will his way to the cup. And even when he doesn't finish, you can see both the spatial awareness and willingness to embrace physicality, slicing through tight windows, absorbing contact, and still maintaining his dribble in line to the rim. There's no doubt that at times, Dybantsa's playstyle can get a little ball-stoppy. He likes to size up and hunt his own look. And that style is the antithesis of the modern NBA game. But when you have this kind of on-ball gravity and creation skill that Dybantsa does, you live with a few isolations when the prospect is so young in their development. Now, once Dybantsa gets a step downhill, good luck. He's an extremely athletic and strong driver who embraces contact and plays through it like he's allergic to finesse. The numbers back it up. 74.4% overall at the rim on 266 attempts, and nearly 70% in half-court situations at Utah Prep. That's elite efficiency for a big man, let alone a high-usage wing. He's got real power driver tendencies. He'll self-create dunks in the half court. He threw down 24 of those. Dybantsa can fall into playing with a one-track mind, though. You'll see plenty of predetermined drives, a habit of forcing his way into traffic, but that aggression is part of what makes him dangerous. He's not afraid to live in contact zones, and he forces defenses to rotate early or risk a poster. And when the game opens up, forget it. He loves grabbing the ball right off the rim and going coast to coast. That's when his stride and athleticism really pop, covering the floor in a handful of dribbles, finishing with either hand or hammering one down over backpedaling defenders. AJ was born for chaos in the open court, a devastating force who flushed 61 transition dunks during his senior season. When he gets momentum, the only thing that stops him is the whistle. And Dybantsa got to the line 8 times a game during his senior season, knocking down 80% of those attempts. It's not always pretty. Fans of the more beautiful game maybe become disillusioned with Dybantsa's propensity to griff for fouls, but this is a star quality trait that you can see from the greats, be it SGA or Jalen Brunson. The NBA's best scorers understand how to bait defenders into unwilling situations and create contact and get to the line. Don't hate the player, hate the game. It doesn't always work out, and there are times where AJ's hunting the foul, particularly from the perimeter, forcing the issue and ending up in a wasted possession. This will need to be ironed out to know when the situation calls for baiting his man, but for a teenager, the ability to draw fouls is elite and will continue to be a major boon to his efficiency at higher levels. Now, the jumper. This is where AJ's confidence becomes both his superpower and his kryptonite. Now, kryptonite may be strong, but AJ takes a ton of tough contested looks, often bailing out the defense. Over 40 games with Utah Prep, he shot 35.2% from deep, not perfect, but more than enough to command respect. He hit 36.6% of his catch and shoot threes on 131 attempts, and connected on nearly 40% of those unguarded. He even hit 32.7% on dribble jumpers, which ranks in the 66th percentile per synergy, and considering the difficulty, is pretty good. He's streaky, no doubt. The underlying mechanics are sound, there's a little chicken wing flair, but the base is balanced, the elevation's pure, and the follow-through is consistent. A lot of the missed shots can be a bit flat, ending in front rim misses, and on the tougher shots, he'll wildly miss the rim completely. But when he's hot, shots come at the defense like an avalanche. It doesn't matter if there's a hand or three in his face, he's pulling and making. He's shown flashes of movement shooting too, curling off pin down or fading off balance in rhythm. We've seen how Ace Bailey has thrived off these looks in an NBA system during the preseason. And at the next level, I'm interested to see if BYU employs some pick and pop looks next to Robert Wright. The key step forward will be shot selection and the ability to leverage his scoring to make his teammates better. Dybantsa believes he can make every shot, which is great until it isn't. Learning to differentiate a decent look from a great one will determine whether AJ is just looked at as a scorer or a superstar. So let's dive into AJ's playmaking. This is where the film gets interesting and often really frustrating. When, and that's a big when, Dybantsa acts as a willing passer, he's flashed real creativity and ability. He's capable of threading well-timed passes to cutters, hitting corner shooters off drives, and he's surprisingly comfortable slinging the rock with his left, even off a live dribble. But those flashes are inconsistent at best and ball-hoggish at worst. He's wired to score first, second, and third. Now, he averaged 3.6 assists to 3.1 turnovers. The positive 1.2 assist-to-turnover ratio speaks to some positive indicators. But the lower assist totals given his usage speaks to a player still learning how to leverage that scoring gravity. Because when he draws 2 or 3 defenders collapsing into the paint, and he does, constantly, there are wide open lanes for easy reads he often misses. When he sees them, it gets you excited about the player he's capable of developing into. When he doesn't, it often results in a strip turnover in traffic, an offensive foul forcing his way through contact, or a super tough forced look that might as well be a turnover. This is a good example of AJ's propensity to drive with blinders on. This turnover, as he drives into 4 defenders, is a result of his one-track mind to create a bucket for himself. But when defenses know that they can just load up and overhelp, you're making their life easy. But you could see the light bulb moments at times, moments where he's problem-solving these two contrasting mindsets in real time, like here against Montford when he forces a drive into traffic on one possession leading to a strip, but then AJ adjusts the next possession on a similar situation by kicking it out to a wide open shooter. Those reps and adjustments matter. Now, Kevin Young's system at BYU should help here. There's enough structure to force him to play with more flow and unlock the passing instincts that are already in there, buried under the relentless scorer mindset. Now, defensively, physically, AJ looks like he was built in a 2K lab for switchable defense. Tall, long, strong, and fluid with good hip mobility. At the high school level, he guarded 1 through 5 at various points. He wants the challenge too. At Utah Prep, AJ consistently took on the opposing team's number 1 guy. He lined up across the likes of Darren Peterson, Chris Sinek Jr., Cam Boozer, Nate Amen, and Sean Abayev. His willingness to guard up and down the positional spectrum speaks to that on-ball versatility. On the ball, he could sit in a stance, cut off angles, and use his chest to absorb contact, embracing physicality. He's strong enough to body up and bang with some bigs, mobile enough to switch onto guards, and confident enough to talk while doing it. He's not infallible as an on-ball defender. There are moments when he doesn't have a marquee matchup where AJ doesn't go as hard. He's not a great screen navigator. For a guy with his frame, he should be fighting through picks harder. But overall, AJ competes and does his best to make guys work for their buckets. Now, the off-ball consistency is a different story. This is where he needs more polish. Dybantsa is prone to getting singularly focused on his matchup, losing track of help responsibilities, missing tags and rotations. There are moments where he's backdoored on cuts when he gets caught ball watching. Dybantsa should be generating way more stocks at the high school level with his athleticism, but he chases his man and turns his back to the ball instead of staying flat with his head on a swivel so that he could see ball and man and be in position to rotate and protect the rim. There's an argument that not aggressively rotating over and trying to contest every rim attempt kept him out of foul trouble, but the bulk of the issue is off-ball awareness. He just gets the kind of tunnel vision that elite teams will target, and you saw plenty of examples in a matchup against Montford where they repeatedly ran ball screen actions when AJ was the primary low-man rotator, leading to easy looks at the rim. When AJ's locked in, you see why people project real defensive upside. He covers ground like a heat-seeking missile, can lock up with his agility and physicality, and is capable of completely erasing a possession. So what are you buying if you're investing in AJ Dybantsa? You're buying superstar equity, a relentless scorer with a pro-ready frame, a mid-range bag straight out of the Tatum playbook, and the confidence to take and make impossible shots. You're buying into the possibility that the playmaking and off-ball defensive consistency catch up to the scoring talent. You're looking at one of the most dominant scoring wings to come through the pipeline in years. Dybantsa's blend of skill, power, and polish gives him the kind of offensive upside that can reshape a franchise's identity. Dybantsa's not just chasing greatness, he's already playing like he expects it.